Hello, and welcome to the online presentation of Filmbook, an illustrated encyclopedic guide. Thank you for joining me for this reintroduction to our project. My name is Mea Kundurović, and I'm the editor-in-chief for the US launch of Filmbook. Today we will talk a bit about the book itself, its main contributors, and we will hear what our esteemed international reviewers had to say. We will also touch upon our vision for the future. One of the advantages of being an expert in a certain field is that when you realize that book, an educational tool, is missing from your area of expertise, you can just sit down and write it. And that is on the most basic level how this book was conceived in the first place. The finished product is a result of an extraordinary collaboration between the author Lejla Panjeta and the visual artist Furkan Hezir. And they developed and created this book in the middle of the pandemic, virtually online, despite all the challenges that this kind of creative flow would pose. Let's hear from the author herself about her creative process and her thoughts behind the development of this project.
I wanted the book to look like something that marked my childhood in terms of text and ideas, such were the encyclopedia 1000 Why and 1000 Because, or the magazine Politicus Entertainer. The concept of the book was such that each chapter looks like a learning map with learning outcomes. Text and image, the frame from the film or the illustration are there to engrave in the memory of the 8-year-old the basics, and for the 88-year-old to immediately recognize what it is about. In addition to text and easy-to-remember explanations and illustrations, the chapters in the book have their own infographics, timelines, and most inevitably the quotes, of course. Sometimes a good quote or a line from a movie can explain an entire historical period or give an important life lesson. We have been working on this basic design with many modifications and additions. I have enjoyed immensely creating the concept for this book. Online work was quite challenging, but I'm very satisfied that we made this project reach all the lovers of film and created a good, concise, and easy reading for all, from 8 to 108.
Thank you, Lejla, for the insight in the creative process behind making Filmbook. The enjoyment that you mentioned is clearly visible in the finished product. From the get-go, the design pulls you right in. Then you open it up. Wherever you open it, the concept, the way the book is made, will instantly hook you and make you want to interact with it. The book is easily understandable through precise language, and thanks to the impactful original black and white illustrations, it is visually stimulating, and it keeps you engaged, and it keeps you going. It gives an overview, and at the same time offers enough detail. It is informative and educational without being dry or overwhelming with unnecessary information. The first edition was published in Bosnian in 2020 by Art Company. The book was received very well, not only from the experts in film studies, but also from its student audience. In the survey after the book launch, students of film and video gaming of the University of Sarajevo School of Science and Technology gave the project the highest marks. We're honored to have our international experts review the book. Let's hear what some of them had to say about Filmbook. First up is Dr. Cynthia McDermott, professor and department chair at Antioch University in LA and Santa Barbara.
I'd like to talk a little bit about Lejla's book. Filmbook is an enticing, adventurous, and comprehensive invitation to all readers interested in the art of filmmaking. The authors have created a visually enticing, historic, and aesthetic work that reviews every aspect of the art, including the genres, history, and process of cinematography from an international perspective. Comprehensive texts on the topics covered in this volume do not exist, which makes this unique and extremely valuable. The filmmaker, the film student, and the film reviewer will all take from this extensive work much valuable and interesting information that will create a far deeper appreciation and understanding of the value of this art form. The authors have birthed an encyclopedia creation, which is as artistic as the art form itself. This is a highly recommended read of discovery for all audiences interested in this field of study. I recommend that you get a copy today.
Thank you, Professor McDermott. Next up is Dr. Keith Doubt, Professor Emeritus at Wittenberg University.
I am grateful for the opportunity to speak about Professor Lejla Panjeta's new book on film. This work is remarkable and momentous. It provides a strong historical, cultural, and structural overview of film, taking a comprehensive and worldly view. Today, film is our storyteller. People tell stories through film. People tell stories about human lives, about political conflict, about social structures, about love, about hate. Film is indispensable to society, and it's the form through which moral education occurs and through which moral enlightening occurs. It's also the vehicle for propaganda. Professor Panjeta's book is very important today, and I commend her highly for her achievement. Thank you for this opportunity. I wish everyone well.
Thank you, Professor Doubt. And finally, we have Dr. Tuba Boz, professor at RMIT University in Canberra, joining us. Professor?
Greetings to all in beautiful Bosnia. Dobro jutro ili dobro večer, depending on the time difference. Congratulations on your latest publication. I wish we lived in a kind of somewhat normal world where we could have our book launches the way we used to. But with our hearts and minds combined with technology, we're not that far apart. So first of all, congratulations. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to review your latest publication and share my short review. So while the adage goes, do not judge a book by its cover, you would be safe to judge this book by both its cover and title. A book on film, an illustrated encyclopedia delivers on its promise. Lejla Panjeta and Furkan Hizr have succeeded in comprehensively addressing film in this concise illustrative encyclopedia. Filmbook covers everything from film history, film genre and theory, pre-production to post-production techniques, all of which are accompanied by excellent and revealing illustrations. I recommend this book to film students interested in theory or practice, budding filmmakers, or to those who may want a deeper appreciation and insight into the nuances of filmmaking. Congratulations once again, and wish we were there with you to celebrate. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Boz. Apart from these three esteemed experts, we also had the honor of a book review by Professor Metin Bošnjak from Turkey, Nisad Selimović, film critic from Bosnia, Daniel Delbene, author and screenwriter from Argentina, Vedran Fajković, screenwriter from Bosnia, and Ahmed Imamović, film director from Bosnia. You can find more details on those reviews at our Instagram page, We Went Social, at filmbook.88, or in our second edition in English coming out this year. Now that we heard all the expert opinion on Filmbook, and after the short introduction of what it is and what it does and who is it meant for allow me to share an opinion, an impression of somebody who has no professional ties with film, screenwriting, history of film, theory of film, any of it. It's me. I am a passionate lover of anything moving pictures, film, shows, you name it. I love it. I spent my childhood in front of a TV screen, as did most of us, glued and fascinated by anything that came to that tube. I'm aging myself now. Then it was a tube. There was no flat screens back then. What amazed me about Filmbook is how approachable and relatable it is, how easy it is to interact with it, to enjoy it, and how quickly you learn things without even noticing. It goes from the history of film, it talks about theory of film, practice of filmmaking. It also touches upon, which I found really fascinating, a film as a tool, a film as a medium for propaganda or medium for influencing people's opinions, people's emotions, people's views. Rarely have I found an introduction into a subject that touches on even the meta level of the area. It is playful without being childish, and the illustrations make it really easy to remember, especially for visual types like myself. The information is short, sweet, and impactful, and there is nothing you don't need to know. And for someone who is not in the world of movie making, it was really easy to follow. I became a fan from the moment I saw it, and I felt really honored when this idea to go globally came along, and I was attached to the project as the chief editor for the US launch of the book. We are currently in the process of publishing it here. We will have updates on the progress on our Instagram page for anybody who's interested. This is such an exciting project for me, and I am very happy to see it come into its own, basically. The book speaks for itself. We just need to knock on the right doors, and Filmbook will do its work for us. Now that we've heard all about the book, let's dive in. Filmbook covers 3 areas: the history of film, theory of film, and practice of filmmaking. And the part I like the most are the definitions and the explanations for the foundational pieces of filmmaking and filmmaking language. What is a genre? What is style? What is the difference between frame shot, scene, sequence? How did the soap operas get their name? Why is a cliffhanger called a cliffhanger? All this and more, to the point of how many different professionals are involved in a making of a movie, from the idea to the finished product. Let's take an example from the book to make this clear. The frame is defined as the smallest static unit of film. A series of consecutive frames comprises a shot. Shot, as the smallest dynamic unit, is the main unit of film. This is the piece of film reel between 2 cuts, or an uninterrupted take made by camera from the moment the camera is turned on to the moment it turns off. A shot includes all content captured inside the camera field of view. The place where shots are connected is called a cut. Scene is a series of shots in which action is happening in one place during a certain time. When the place of action changes, the scene also changes. Scenes clustered by logic or common thread make up a sequence, which is similar to a chapter in a story. When a scene is filmed in one long take and edited without a cut, this is called a sequence shot. The more you know, right? Now we have no excuse to use frame and scene interchangeably. These and many more gems can be found in Filmbook. It can be used as an educational tool. It can satisfy your curiosity in the area of film. It can help your students easily grasp the basics of filmmaking. It can remind the professional of the cornerstones of their craft. And if all this fails, it is beautifully made, well executed, visually stunning coffee table book that you will come back to over and over again. And with that, we've come to an end of our mini podcast, our reintroduction to Filmbook, the encyclopedic guide. A big shout out, a big thank you goes to Sarajevo Winter 2022 for giving us this opportunity and introducing us to its broad audience. Thank you for joining us on this short journey. We hope you enjoyed the time with us. On behalf of our team, Lejla Panjeta, Vorkan Hezer, Sandra Ozimica, Maja Juvan, Ana Kravić, and Sad Vegara, and myself, Mea Kundurović, we wish you a great day, and we'll see you at the movies.